All my beautiful pictures. That aren't so beautiful, but it's okay.
I was about to say that's subjective.
That one looks like a sourdough loaf.
Yeah, it does. Find the volume of the loaf of sourdough.
I could do that.
Number 2.
I'm gonna have to start skipping that number.
Every single time it pops up.
The solid lies between planes perpendicular to the x-axis at x equals 0 and x equals 4.
How did it get perpendicular?
What do you mean how? It's not hard.
But she said it was hard.
The cross sections perpendicular to the x-axis between those planes run from y equals negative square root of x to y equals the square root of x. A. The cross sections, I should have specified this is a long problem, are
Good thing I have this whole side of the page.
circular discs with diameters in the xy plane.
Are we gonna end up with the z plane?
I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe. I mean, technically speaking, you could kind of argue that we are right now, but
We just
we don't call it that.
We just don't
We're looking
call
at it as if it's just in the xy. So this picture, I'm not going to draw it. Just look in your book. It's on page 410.
Thanks. Ooh, crunchy.
It's basically a parabola that they're taking and they're spinning it a whole bunch of times.
I don't like that. Why is it built like that?
So I'm looking at the
Yes, I'm graph shaming you.
I guess I should read the actual instructions way back there. Find the formula for the area of the cross section of the solids that are perpendicular to the x-axis. So I'm just finding the area. So what is the area of a circle? Pi r squared. Well, r in our case is the square root of x. So this is pi times the square root of x squared, or pi x.
Should we write that a equals that?
Probably just so if you look back, you remember that we're dealing with area, because this is not like the full extent of how we do these problems. This is just which this problem isn't as long because I thought we were actually solving them, but then I went and looked at the instructions and it's just finding the areas of them. And basically this is going to be the same problem, right? We're looking at the different ways that I could cross section this. So B is the cross sections are squares with bases in the xy plane. So that's just saying the base of the square is in the xy plane. Whereas like this one, the diameters were in the xy plane. So what is the area of a square? Yep, so side squared. Oh, this one's different. Not the formula, hold on. Just the way that we set this one up. It is side squared. That was not what I was answering or saying. So basically, the base is actually, if you look at the picture, some of it's on the one side and some of it's on the other side. So we're going to have to add the two pieces together to get the entire base of the square, right? Because right now I basically have a piece on this side and a piece on this side. So I've got to add these two together to get the total base. but one is negative, so I'm going to do basically minus a negative to add them together. So this is going to end up being the square root of x minus the negative square root of x, which is 2 square root of x, which is the base side. So then I can redo this as 2 root x squared, which is 4x. So the area is 4x.
You know, I really hate allergies.
I'm skipping C, by the way, because it's basically the same as B. It's just diagonals. I also hate allergies. Fortunately, mine haven't been too bad yet.
I know. Same. I'm scared.
Mine have been kind of mean.
I think being gone when the bulk of the bad was happening has helped mine. But fingers crossed. I'm using like my nose spray stuff, which usually actually helps pretty well. I've been using that every day since we got back. So I mean that also could be why I haven't really had an issue, but
I do not want to get it like during exams. That would not be good.
But allergies?
yeah.
Well,
Or just like
I don't want to have my allergies messing with me during the spring concert.
That's Friday.
I know. I mean, so far it hasn't really messed with my voice too much. I can still sing just fine, sing the right notes. It hasn't really affected my range too much.
That's good. I kind of forgot that was this week.
I know, me
mean,
too.
maybe it has added just a tiny bit more bass, but I don't know. Maybe
I don't remember what her name is, but it's all about that bass.
Yep. Now,
That,
no,
thank
it's
you.
not.
I can picture her. Just couldn't think of her name.
She made a joke now that it's not all about that bass anymore because now she's skinny. She's like on Ozempic or something. I don't know.
Oh man, not the bass.
No, the only reason I even know that is because there was one Thanksgiving. Anybody that watches this video is going to think I'm whack. Anyways, there was this one Thanksgiving that I was, like, so we smoke a turkey, which takes, like, all night. So the smoker that we have now, it really only takes, like, 6 to 8 hours to actually smoke it. But anyways, back in the day, it would take us, like, all night. We'd start at, like,
Back in
10,
the
and we
day.
would get it off at, like, 11:30 or something like that. So, like, it would take, like, almost, like, more than 12 hours sometimes. It just depended. Anyways, well, so my dad and I would stay up and like, but we would stay up. We would like sleep on the couch basically. And so one night would like, we would have to wake up like every hour to like do this. So anyways, to go out and like put more like charcoal on the fire. So they were playing this video about how to slice a turkey. But they were doing the steps leading up to slicing the turkey. And they kept playing, it's all about that base, because you're supposed to, like, baste your turkey. So they were really saying baste. It's all about that baste, like, basting your turkey. But anyways, that forever. Anytime I see a turkey, that's all I think about.
It's all about that bass.
You're right, they are gonna think you're whack.
It's all about that bass.
It's all about that bass.
That bass.
All right. The last one is cross sections are equilateral triangles with bases in the XY plane. So that means the base of the triangle is in the XY plane. What is the area of an equilateral triangle?
Hold on. So I know there's like S squared.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's like some square root thing.
Uh-huh.
I want to say root 3.
Yep.
That's what I was gonna say, but I didn't want to sound stupid.
So you're gonna leave me here to sound stupid. Thanks
Yeah.
a lot, Virginia.
Nothing sounds as stupid as me talking about basting a turkey, so I think you're okay.
That's debatable.
It's all about that bass. That's the bass though.
Next Thanksgiving, I'm expecting a text message about you
Yes.
basting your turkeys.
And
We don't even do that to our turkey. That's what the funnier part was.
Gobble gobble.
You're missing a part of the formula.
Is it over something?
Over
2,
3. Over 4.
4.
So we take, since we already found the base side, it's the same for the triangle, of course, because we have the base and anyways, in the
Okay,
XY
now
plane.
Why is that formula like that? I don't remember why.
I don't remember. This is just one of those formulas that you just,
No.
Had to know.
yeah.
Yeah, I also remember that I tried solving for an equilateral triangle with this formula, and then I used the regular formula.
It has something to do with the 30, 60, 90 triangle. Because if you look at it like an equilateral is two right triangles that are 30, 60, 90 triangles. So it has something to do with that.
Yeah, but I remember that I tried solving for the area of this one equilateral triangle with that formula, and then I tried solving for it with the regular formula, and the answers were different.
Interesting.
So then I don't trust this formula. I don't think I've really trusted it ever since.
Did you have the right height though? Because an equilateral triangle, I don't really think that's equilateral, but it's close enough. You would have to find H to be able to do that. To use the regular formula.
I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to find H.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Did you find H? And did you do it correctly?
I don't know. You're gonna have to give me a triangle thing to see if I perhaps was just being a silly little, I think, 9th grader. Or if like I was actually on something. I'm okay.
I'm okay. I'm a strong, capable sheep.
I'm
All right.
strong, I'm capable, I'm not sheep. Well,
Hey,
actually,
May 18th, if you're not doing anything,
Hey.
we've got 24 kids that are super cute to do
yeah,
another
I
musical.
check
What day of the
calendar.
week is that?
Sure.
It's
It's a Sunday.
Okay.
It's a Sunday.
It's the Sunday before graduation.
My-
But they're all superheroes.
That'd be so cute. The song
There's a
is
food
like-
fight that happens. It's great. It's a good time. And you can watch me line dance. So, I
A
mean,
win is a win.
May who now?
18th, the Sunday. I don't know what time. I think it's at 6, but it might be later. I don't know. I think it's at 6. We'll figure it out when we get
Yeah.
closer if y'all want to come.
Sounds good.
All right. The solid lies between planes perpendicular to the x-axis at x equals -1 and x equals 1. The cross sections perpendicular to the x-axis are circular discs whose diameters run from the parabola of y equals x squared to the parabola of y equals 2 minus x squared.
How much of this do you think is going to end up on the AP exam?
It'll probably be in your free response part.
Okay, so too much,
Oh
gotcha.
my. Oh no.
So I'm going to try to kind of copy this picture over a little bit because, you know.
Surely we're not going to have to draw any of these ourselves on the AP exam.
We can hope not.
Okay, good, because I don't think I'll be able to do that very well. 'Cause, I mean, I feel like these look pretty scary looking.
Okay. So this is what we're looking at here. This is just to be clear. I drew it a little more straight than they did, but it's still pretty, still crooked because it's crooked in the book. But anyways. So obviously this is y equals 2 minus x squared. And this is y equals x squared. So I need to find the radius of this circle, right? Because it says it's circular discs. So I know that the area is pi r squared, but I've got to figure out what r is equal to. So r is half of the difference between 2 minus x squared and x squared. So this is going to be half of 2 minus x squared minus x squared.
How are you getting that?
I'm looking for the distance between these two things, but that would be the diameter, so I'm taking half of it.
Okay.
So this right here would be the diameter. So then I've got r equals half of 2 minus 2x squared, or 1 minus x squared is the radius. So now I take this and put this into this formula, but now I'm integrating because I'm actually trying to find the volume. So I'm going to put pi out front because that's a constant, times the integral from, they told us it's negative 1 to 1, of 1 minus x squared, that would be my radius squared. So I have pi out here, and then r squared is this, dx, just for Josh.
Thanks.
I was gonna write it anyways, but you know.
Oh, nice.
So I have the integral from negative 1 to 1, and then I need to multiply this out. It says a perfect square trinomial. What would it be? Or if you need to, you can just do it the long way.
One. Oh my gosh.
Minus 2x squared plus x to the 4th.
Yeah, that.
And we have our dx at the end.
It's been so, I haven't boiled in so long.
Now we need to actually integrate.
Spoiling your attempt.
So it's pi times, what's the antiderivative of this?
X.
Minus 2/3 x cubed
Minus 2/3 x cubed.
plus 1/5 x to the 5th.
Yeah.
Evaluated from negative 1 to 1. So I'm going to leave the pi out front. And then I've got 1 minus 2/3 plus 1/5 minus, and I'm going to parentheses this stuff off because, you know, negative 1 plus 2/3 minus 1/5 So then I've got pi times 2 minus 4/3 plus 2/5, I think. And then I need a common denominator of 15, so pi times 30 over 15 minus 20 over 15 plus 6 over 15. So then that would be 16 pi over 15.
Hey, that's what I got.
Oh, good.
What did you get, Virginia?
16 pi over 15. I copy as I go. I'm not cheating, I'm just doing this stuff.
8 This one gives us a picture. Not that the last one didn't, but anyways. Find the volume of the solid generated by revolving the shaded region about the x-axis. What?
8. It's 2 cubed. Number 2 cubed.
Right.
Wombat. There is a very obvious reason why I am not taking art.
Same. Somehow I got honorable mention one time
For like the art show.
for drawing a face.
How was
cannot
it?
do that.
I mean, I guess I didn't do a bad job, but I was not an artist. So number 8, we're doing this about the y-axis. So that tells me my parameters are from 0 to 2. Now, it's not specified. We can use pretty much whatever shape, but I like circles the most. It's the easiest in my opinion. So I'm going to do it for a circle. So my radius is already given to me, right? 3y divided by 2. So I'm going to have a
So,
equals pi r squared.
If
Answer.
we use a different shape, will we get a different answer?
Possibly, but it shouldn't be that off.
Follow-up question. Was that a good question to ask?
Probably.
Okay.
I will typically go circle because it's the easiest one.
Circle.
Why would it be the radius in that case, the x?
Because it's how far it is away from the.
I thought that was that the diameter, or
Where?
like how far the distance was. The full one is the diameter, and then like we just divided by
Well, I
2.
mean, isn't that technically half of the circle? In the stuff, like in the graph.
Like this would be equivalent over here. It would be going around. I'm just
Okay.
looking at this range right here.
Okay.
So then I've got pi, is the integral from 0 to 2 of 3y over 2 squared dy. So pi times the integral from 0 to 2 of 9/4 y squared dy, and I need to integrate that. What do I get when I do that?
Y cubed.
So reduce that.
You got that, Virginia.
3, 4.
Yes.
Good thing I didn't.
You could just take a 3 out of this to begin with.
Whatever.
And then this is evaluated from 0 to 2. And so we would get pi times, actually I'm going to take the 3/4 out as well. So 3/4 pi, and then I've got 8 minus 0. So that ends up being 6 pi.
Yeah, I guess we would end up with a different answer.
Looking at it, because this says revolving, it has to be a circle. I didn't catch that, but if it says revolving, they're going to end up involving a pie, so it would have to be going around.
Other than that, could we use anyone?
What do you
Like any
mean?
shape?
Oh, typically, I mean, I think they're gonna most often tell you, because
What
most of
about
the rest
these?
of them are gonna end up being washers or
How about
this
dryers?
thing, shells. Ha 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 ha.
So what if I wanted to use a trapezoid?
I'll pray for you. 'Cause that's hard.
Also, is the formula for the area of the trapezoid half the, well,
I think it's 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 or
Can you-
something.
can you like use the formula of like,
I'm really bad at them. They're not ones I use all the time. I don't know.
never mind.
Um. I'm gonna. We only have a couple minutes. We probably wouldn't get to the next one, so we'll just hold on 10 till tomorrow. And then we'll be jumping in pretty quickly then to washers and some shells.
I don't know how I feel about jumping into the washer. Might get a little wet.
I just
there.
really don't like the shell problems, so you're gonna have to be like, just do it.
Wait, so I get to yell at my teacher? Yay.
Maybe. No, I'll do them. I just don't enjoy them. They're harder, so I don't like them.
So they're hard shells.